So the first time I heard Johann Sebastian Bach, I was about 6 years old in the white Camry of my great-grandfather. His name was Luther. He said, "So what do you think? You know, great composer, right?" And I said, no, way too mathematical, way too straight. I just couldn't get into it. Give me, and later I learned their names, but give me more romantic, Shostakovich, Rachmaninoff, things like that. And so I kind of gravitated towards the piano and went away from Bach for many years. I had the fortune of my grandmother taking an interest in my piano lessons, and she drove me to South Dahlia in Hamden every week during high school. It's just right over there. My piano teacher, first one, still lives over there, and took lessons with him. And then I decided I wanted to get a degree and go to school, and I auditioned for scholarship. It actually took me 5 years auditioning every year in a row to get a full ride scholarship, and I finally did to CU Boulder in 2017. And so I've been there for 13 semesters now, actually. Just can't leave. But between high school and college, one of the things I got to do was to go through groupmuse.com and do a lot of house concerts where I was this close to the audience, getting to describe the pieces I was playing. So I want to give you a little taste of that. That's where I got a lot of my performance experience, was in intimate settings like this. So the next piece I'll play is by Claude Debussy, and this piece is called Brouillard, or Mists. And so you can think of this, maybe the 5 years trying to get into piano school and learning a lot and trying to teach myself. Debussy begins with this nice misty texture. And that really continues throughout the piece, but there's just a couple of moments where something comes out of the piece, and these are fireworks. And then back into the mist. So Debussy's music can be appreciated on its own, of course, but I love just giving you a few things to listen for. Thank you very much. So I want to thank my teacher, my first teacher who's not here also, but he was so patient with me. I wanted to stretch things and pull things, and he was always saying, count, count, use the metronome, got to learn this first. And so one of those pieces was on my college audition. It was by Moritz Moszkowski, and there was this very flashy passage I was playing for my college auditions, and I just insisted that it wasn't supposed to be straight, and he was dead, and he wasn't going to tell me it's not okay, So I'll play that for you as an example. It's a very, very fun passage. And I said, yes, I can do it that way. Now I want to stretch them. And this makes me feel like the music is more visceral, really gets your gut. Thank you. So once I got into college, I had, again, support from my grandmother. Her name was Kathy Motes. And she was a young grandmother. I come from 7 siblings. My mother had her first child at 15, and my brother had his first child at 17. So it's a big family already, with my grandma at 35. And she actually took us all in and nurtured us all the way through high school. And one of the pieces that I played on my first recital, my junior recital in college, were these Debussy pieces and these Brahms pieces. And so I want to play one of the pieces from that, a Brahms intermezzo. On the program it says number 3, but it's actually number 4 for those of you who are counting. So I'll start on the piano, and then I'll move to the harpsichord. So in a piece of music, there's no dynamics written in this time period. Nothing really to do, I mean, the red is all mine. So there's nothing really to do in the score interpretively that you get from the composer. On the piano, this piece sounds like a very quiet piece because you can play it very softly. But on the harpsichord, there's not much difference, no matter how hard you play it. So if there's more notes in a smaller space of time, it's going to sound very loud because there's a lot happening. So I'll demonstrate the same piece, but on the harpsichord, it's a huge concerto sound. So once I got to college, I didn't stop, and I decided to do a master's in harpsichord once I finished my bachelor's in piano. And one of the wonderful things I learned is that there's a lot of improvisation, just like in organ playing. Harpsichord is a lot about improvisation. So the next piece I'm playing is by a French composer named Louis Couperin, and he is the inventor of this genre. If you can see, there's only whole notes written. So just one value of notes, absolutely no rhythm. It's like putting letters on a page, and you make the words yourself. And so every time you play it, it sounds different, and every person who plays it sounds different. So this is his prelude in C major. So there are not very many women composers of the harpsichord, but there are a few, and this is Elizabeth Jacquet de Laguerre. She was a prodigy at age 4 in the royal court, and she has a beautiful chaconne that I'd like to play for you now. The feature of a chaconne is it's like a pop song. You get the same chords over and over again, and a Baroque chaconne varies the music on top of that. Normal pop music might not vary quite as much as you'll hear today, but this is a beautiful French piece, and there's one registration change I want to show you. So the harpsichord, they're all different. This one happens to have 2 8-foot sets of strings. So here's one set, a little lighter in sound and in tone. Style. Everyone's favorite. I'd like to share that Goldberg variation aria with you to close. So I have a little encore prepared for you. This one's Duke Ellington. And before I finished my master's, my teacher told me, you know, especially in the US, play things that the audience knows so they can feel like they know an instrument. Even though it's an ancient instrument, they can feel like they know what's going on with this instrument. So that's kind of where I was inspired to choose some repertoire like this. This one's called Dancers in Love, and I need a little help from you, so pay attention. Sit up on the edge of your seats. out.